Hey everybody. I know it's been a while since I put up a video, so I wanted to put out this kind of vlog type video to update everyone on where I'm at and what's changed. I know I don't have a ton of subscribers, but I do really appreciate all the support that's come in and the feedback on my videos as I decide kind of where I want to focus future videos. So that being said, I just recently hit 42 million skill points, and among the skills I recently finished were Heavy Drones 5, which allows me to use Tech 2 heavy drones, as well as Tech 2 medium autocannons. Now this really starts to open the door for some cruiser PvP, which I have very little experience in. So I figured I'd share a fight with you that I really learned a lot from, even though I made a ton of mistakes. As well as towards the end of the video, I'm going to show a kind of a to-do list of things that I have planned for the future. So if you couldn't tell already, in this video I'm flying a Stabber, and this is a fit that I had theory crafted to potentially fight Tech 3 destroyers, but this is actually the very first fight that I'd ever had in a Stabber, let alone in this fit. The basic idea of this fit is dual 180 autocannons for tracking, MWD Scram Web, kind of a brawl setup, and 2 armor reppers. Now this is similar to something you might see put on a Rupture, but I find that in general, the Stabber is a lot less threatening than the Rupture, as well as the Stabber has a much higher base speed, so when fighting things like Tech 3 destroyers, that high base speed can really allow you to get some tracking. And while the Stabber doesn't do a whole lot of DPS, a little DPS that can actually hit something is far better than a lot of DPS that misses every time. Or at least that's the concept I was working with. Now, like I said, for me this was a huge learning experience. I tested different ammos while flying and fighting. I definitely messed up on a lot of my micromanagement like heat and cap boosting, but overall I had a lot of fun in this fight. And even though no one died, I think it's one of the better fights I've had in a long time. So, things I learned in this fight. First, I think sticking with EMP, Phase Plasma, or Fusion is probably a little bit better for Tech 3 destroyers than Titanium Saeboat, and I'll save that tracking ammo for frigates. Second, I need to watch the heat management on my modules, and especially the heat management on my newts, and how that contributes to the heat on my guns, eventually burning them out. And then lastly, I really underestimated the cap drain from 2 small newts, and that really wore down my cap boosting later on in the fight. Now, let's look at another fight. By this time, I think I've had about 3 or 4 fights in Stabbers, lost a couple to gate camps, and so I have a better feel for when I need to start repairing and how to manage my modules. I changed the fit around a little bit in order to fit 2 medium armor repper 2s on, as well as the Entosis link, and I'm running around in Null Entosising some things. In between Entosis cycles, Sveeple comes into local and is kind of looking around, so I go next door and challenge him to a fight, and he obliges. Now, as this fight goes on, I clearly underestimated the volley damage of an artillery Sveeple. Because of that, I really think I do prefer using an ancillary repper, and I'll be sticking with that in the future. Now, moving forward, I really do want to play around with some 220mm autocannon fits. I want to see how much tracking I lose and how much damage and fall off I gain, and whether or not that's going to be viable coming up. I'm also kind of waiting to see if there will be some Tech 3 destroyer changes that will hopefully change the landscape a little bit of low-sec and make cruisers be more viable and a healthy option. But I really take these 2 fights as kind of a proof of concept. I'm not saying this is the best way to fly or the best fit, but it's something that I am enjoying, and I'll be making tweaks and changes as I gain more experience in this area and move forward. Now, the last thing in this kind of vlog, I really want to give a huge thanks to Zach, who's helped me on a ton of videos, and a corp member named Vikelin, who bought me this Blue Tiger Stabber skin. I was hanging out on comms and chatting with a bunch of the guys, and I was saying how excited I was at potentially making a Stabber video in the future, and he just pulled me aside and sent me a contract, and said, hey, here you go. I hope you have fun with this. So just a huge thanks to him for being awesome. And in the future, hopefully we'll see this skin a lot more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.